The Weightlifting AI app by Aita and Weightlifting House is coming out in April, so stay tuned. This has been the most exciting thing I think I've ever done with Weightlifting House. And then to be able to do this with the Aita is just unbelievable. The Weightlifting AI app by Weightlifting House and Aita is a totally individualized, responsive, proven system of weightlifting training. What is a training system?
So a training system is essentially the entire scope of things that went on within a certain group of people or a country. So for example, the culture of training, the culture of the coaches, of the athletes, the methodologies the coaches used, the principles that they based their system on, the actual written programs themselves, and then the technology available to those people at the time. So the Bulgarian system, is different than the Soviet system because it involved different levels or different types of those things combined.
And so what we have here with the Weightlifting AI app is that it's not just a program. It is a system. It is an iteration, a development upon these Bulgarian, Chinese, Soviet styles of program that fits with the way that we now live our life using the technology that we now have available. It's hard to state just how revolutionary this is going to be as a method of training for people like me, people like you, people like Max back when he was doing a lot of weightlifting training. This is so many levels beyond what is currently available. I mean, this is, as we mentioned, this is individual to you. This is responsive to the way that you're training. It is constantly improving, and it is proven by these principles that we're going to talk a little bit about now quickly. So, Max, what is individualized training? Why is it important sort of within the context of the Weightlifting AI app?
So individualized training is simply the application of individual markers for a person: age, height, weight, sex, strength levels, etc., and using those factors to dial in the exact optimal amount of training volume, the optimal exercise selection to fix weaknesses, so that your program is the most well-suited for you.
So one of the most incredible things about Weightlifting AI is that it is responsive to you as an athlete. It changes, it optimizes over time to become better and better. Do you want to just explain a little bit about quite how this responsiveness works?
The responsive aspect of this training system is that it adjusts set to set, day to day, week to week, month to month, training cycle to training cycle, based on the inputs you give it. Unlike a spreadsheet or a training program written down on paper, you're actually interacting with the app set to set, day to day, and it's giving you immediate feedback and giving you the correct changes to your program, whether that be increasing sets or decreasing or changing intensities. It makes adjustments in real time so you get a program that feels very much like a coach is right there with you.
And then also to add on to that, not just that it's changing these things, it's learning which exercises are helping you the most. It's optimizing exercise selection as well as just volume, intensity, cycle length, all of these things. And then obviously we want to make sure that this is built upon a proven foundation. Can we talk a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, so the system is built upon the principles of training. The principles of training are universal principles that apply to all types of training. What we've done with the Weightlifting AI is taken those principles and interpreted them through our system to maximize each principle for an individual. So we've taken specificity, fatigue management, overload, etc., and we've modified them with the app to give you the best possible program. The coaching logic that exists in this app is mine personally. So I've taken all of my experiences learned through coaching over the last 2 decades as an athlete, in observance of multiple top-level coaches being in attendance at world championships, etc. And I've distilled all of that logic into the app itself. So the foundation of this program is built upon successful athletes and successful coaches' systems, as well as the proven principles that we know are going to drive results forward.
So the Weightlifting AI app is individual, it's responsive, it's proven. And honestly, this is something that we are so thrilled to have worked on together and to be releasing out to everybody. This is something that is going to improve the way that not just the individual is able to train, but just the pool of athletes involved in our sport are going to see improvements in a way that we've not been able to do this before. In many ways, we are democratizing what is in Max's head to make sure that everybody gets the most optimal style of programming for them. This changes with you. This learns from you. This is, I mean, it's so exciting. It's hard to explain quite how good it is. We have a lot more content coming out that's going to go into depth about all these different principles that Max just mentioned. We're going to talk a little bit more about how it's individual, how we feed these bits of information in, how we interact with the app to make sure that it's changing for you, set to set, rep to rep, day to day, week to week, cycle to cycle. We're going to go more into depth in that sort of stuff. If you're interested in learning more about this, there's a link down below. But the Weightlifting AI app by Max Aita and Weightlifting House is coming out in April. So stay tuned.